Good morning to you, Mama V.
Good morning.
How's your weekend?
It was very good, I think.
You look wonderful. I like your hair.
Thank you.
And
Thank
of
you so
course,
much.
you've picked similar colors to me today. I see great minds
I
think
slept in
alike.
your house, maybe.
Oh well, let's start that rumor.
But how was driving through the rains here? I mean, I think I drove by faith.
Yeah, I don't think it was good. The only person who had a good eyesight and fortitude and tenacity to drive speedily and fast to the studio was this gentleman. The way he was driving was bad. I have to caution him.
Not that fast.
It's been raining for hours now.
He whisked past me.
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I came and saw the car. I said,
It wasn't.
was that you?
It was.
Anyway, that's good. But we thank
Yeah.
God that we're alive and we're here.
Yeah, true. But it's still been raining. I mean, it is still raining. And the issue with rains is places get flooded. So be prepared.
And the roads get really bad. You see, when you see a puddle, be very careful driving through it because God knows what the rain might have washed into the water, which you can't see above the surface. So try to skirt the edges of puddles. Just drive carefully and slowly and get here.
Yeah, there's a
safely.
portion, this portion at the Tesano, the Telecoms University. I mean, it's been there for a very long time. Exactly. So more than half of that portion of the stretch is flooded. So, you know, we all have to squeeze and go to the outer lane. You have to watch out if you're using that stretch of road this morning.
Guys, can we quickly congratulate one of our
Yes,
colleagues?
we'll get there. We'll get there because we've got the pictures.
We want to do something with it.
Yes,
All
we
right.
will.
I'll hold my fire then. But tell me, what did you get up to this weekend? Anything good?
Nothing much.
Indoors.
Just, yeah,
maybe I did 2 hours of walk.
I went to Cape Coast.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What happened?
I went to hang out with my parents. And I met up with my two oldest friends.
Yeah?
Dagbe Amenume and Richard Akefi. And they were spilling the beans to my crew. I went with a crew. They were spilling the beans about my childhood to the crew and all the naughty things I got up to as a teenager.
Were you able to remember all the things, scenario?
The things I didn't remember, they remembered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I know you know sometimes because you engage in so many mischievous acts, sometimes it's difficult for one to remember.
Are you talking about yourself right now?
No, you're talking about
talking generally about him.
Right.
All right, we have to look at
bad.
Yeah. What did you do?
I had difficulty with my phone in the first place. So I couldn't communicate well over the weekend. The screen was shutting and going off.
Buy a better phone, that's all. Buy a better phone.
We're on air. Don't let people know the brand of phone that I use. To cause tension.
But I wonder whether it's from the same country as this Galamsea.
I think so.
Who has been arrested
Mass production.
On the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Yes, while I'm at it, maybe I'll go through all the headlines here. Ghanaian Times has these. Chinese Galamsea arrested, pump action guns and equipment seized. President leaves for the 5th edition of the Financial Times Africa Summit. Not caught that one yet, but let's see how it goes this year. Use of petroleum revenue. We are worried. That's what PIAC is saying, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee. I'll tell you later why we are worried. And 31 women undergo training in tractor operation. On the back page, there's a story of tourism in the Upper East region, where they have registered some positive growth, according to the Ghana Tourism Authority. That's the Ghanaian Times. I also have the Daily Guide. It has these. Mahama appoints army officer as security coordinator. Rawlings endorses Nana. And snake strangles spiritualist to death. Gory story here of a python wrapped around the neck of a spiritualist. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. Dangerous work. Also, minister donates car to best teacher. And on the back page of the Daily Guide, Wakaso survives car accident and thanks God. Oh boy, we all thank God. 16 vie for Cal Bank Super Cup. GNPC, Ghana fastest, inducts 4 into the Speedsters Club. And Chinese Association to support golf. Well, that's all right, isn't it? Chinese Association to support golf.
Okay.
Good for
Let's look at the Finder newspaper. It has on the front page Tension mounts in police service as Commissioner of Police Bueno is 60 yesterday, but has been appointed a deputy IGP. And we're told that the current IGP, according to the story, himself has had an extension up to next year, 2019. And this man will mean that he will go after 2019, at least one more year before retire. It's not the first time, though, we've had extension of contracts for personnel, top officers of the police service, ultimately who have become IGPs or have been in that position, an extension given to their retirement ages. Now we have National Best Teacher winning a 3-bedroom house. Congratulations to him. We'll have him on the show shortly, but we'll go to his school subsequently. We promised that during the week. Bishop Herman College, we're told. Ghana learns from Singapore to redevelop Accra. Domestic flying to move to Terminal 2. Shows that at least we can have a feel of the former big hall. When we those who only do local travels.
Yes.
Well, now let's look at the Business and Financial Times. Bank of Ghana to take action on savings and loans. And then we also have strong local banks ready to compete. The Bank of Ghana is the source of that story. Chinese investors eye cocoa processing factory in the Western region, and Odotubri is CIMG Rural Bank of the year again. Odotubri, I think have a meter works there. One and two ferries.
Okay, so I'll do the Daily Graphic and the Daily Dispatch newspaper. The Graphic first, front page, support indigenous banks. That's a call by Indum. Iyoko grabs 2 finance house directors without license. Ghana Cylinder Board reconstituted. President Akufo-Addo inaugurates Bolga Waga electricity project. And UPSA dismisses 3 lecturers. They solicit sex from female students. Affected staff challenge decision. That story is on page 3. So we will definitely get into details of that. On the back page of the paper, though, sanction shoot to kill to ward off illegal chainsaw operators. A call by the chief executive of the Forestry Commission, Kwejo Owusu, every year. Lack of logistics affecting work at factories, inspectorates is another story on the back page of the Graphic. But let's switch and do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Front page, the judge's murder, ex-prison officer speaks. I spoke to both Amate Kwe and Amadaka. The full story is on the back page of the paper. Still fallouts of who killed the judges, produced by Raymond Aqua. Former minister's moments of truth. How can a ruling party punish its financiers? That's a question on the front page of the paper. And free SHS alone can't win you a second term. AFAC warns NPP. So that's it for the Daily Dispatch. I think there's a story on the back page which is new. Attorney General responds to removal of Charlotte Osei. Is a monitoring desk report on the back page of the paper. All right. So that's it in terms of the headlines. Now you know what's making the front and back pages by way of headlines in all the newspapers, at least, that we have. Where shall we begin? This story in the Daily Graphic about 3 lecturers from the UPSA dismissed. Sounds interesting. A story by Severus Kalideri in Accra says 3 lecturers of the University of Professional Studies Accra have been dismissed for allegedly soliciting for sex from some female students. The dismissed lecturers have, however, challenged the decision of the university to dismiss them. The authorities of the university say soliciting for sex from students, quote, is a conduct that is likely to put the name of the university into disrepute, unquote. Information pieced together by the Daily Graphic indicates that 2 of the lecturers had multiple sexual relationships with one of the students, resulting in her getting pregnant on 2 occasions. Sources close to the university said the student, who was assisted by one of the lecturers to terminate the first pregnancy, is said to have, quote, nearly died after a medical officer, friend of the lecturer, prescribed medication for them to buy and subsequently assisted in inserting the medicine in her, unquote, vagina in the lecturer's apartment. Information available indicates that when the student got back to her hostel, she bled and nearly died, after which reason she decided not to report her second pregnancy to the said lecturer, but went ahead to terminate it herself. The student has since graduated from the university, but there's a lot. Sex for marks, dismissal as deterrent, position of management, and the investigations is well captured in the paper. This is rare. We hear, we don't see open actions like this.
Open action being taken.
Exactly.
But it's interesting. I think this gives us an insight into what the laws or the rules of that university are. And that is all that matters here, because it is not what's the word? It's not a criminal offense, you know, to as long as the two people are consenting adults, these are not criminal offenses. However, universities may have specific rules against, like they said, soliciting sex with students. And if you go foul of those rules, then the university obviously will seek to dismiss you. But this is interesting. I would love to learn a bit more about this. I'd love to interview perhaps the Vice Chancellor, and if they will speak to me, I'd love to interview the lecturers and the students, because this will give us an insight into something that probably happens a lot on other campuses across. Well,
they declined to formally comment, by the way, when this reporter contacted the school. They said they should go to the head of legal. That person only said, or something of the sort had happened, but didn't give any details. So these are pieces that he picked together and then put together in this. But this is good for us, really. Sex for grades.
Good for us, like good for who?
As in, at least we get to appreciate
of our society.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think that all around the world, especially from the United States and the more developed countries, we've had all this eruption and the spread of the Me Too movement, in which women who have been abused, even decades past, have come forward to narrate their stories.
Just recently, this lady is reporting, though, that she's been abused?
Not necessarily only abuse. We're talking sexual abuse, because this is abuse. And
is it?
Yes, it is abuse.
Sexual abuse?
Yes. If somebody is in high authority and somebody is susceptible to the advances of that person, and we all have been to schools, especially tertiary institutions, in which sometimes you're a male, but you get to find that the male lecturers are making some untoward advances at your colleagues.
And in this one, it says soliciting the lecturers.
Let's be clear, that happens, okay?
Yeah, but we have a victim.
But do we know that is what happened in this case?
So there's another one. There's a third lecturer who solicited for sex from another lady. He was unsuccessful, but threatened to fail the students if she insisted on not giving in to him. The lecturer is said to have invited the lady to his house, where he showed her examination paper and threatened to fail her if she continued to turn down his proposals. All the three lecturers are from the finance and accounting department of the university, so this is more specific now. Yeah. So yes.
So yes, I mean, if that is proven, that is definitely abuse. It's obvious from the narration, isn't it? But I'm just saying that yes, this happens a lot. But in the case of the first lady who ended up having, what, 2 abortions? Yes, I think the story isn't very clear on whether the sex was as a result of, you know, undue influence and so forth. But yeah, it happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. The thing is that I think what I wanted to say in conclusion to my narration is that we have various individuals. So you have somebody who is in a high position and somebody who is susceptible. And then we have scenarios that tend to play out, whether it's the lady or the women who feel that they can exploit a certain situation to their advantage. The person in high position of society also needs to adhere to the ethics and the ethos of a certain profession or institutions that they tend to operate in. So then you're going to have a certain backstopping at some point, saying that, please, I don't like your advances. Because a lecturer or somebody in high position should be able to stop an advancement by any body who is a female or the opposite sex, who you know would be making those advances for a certain gain at the end of the day. Because people want to take advantage of their situations and try to get whatever it is that they want. So you need to have a certain principle based on what the institutions also prescribes. And I think...
Yeah, I mean, if the institution frowns upon it, if they have laws against it, you must.
I think all the universities do.
No, not all of them. No,
really?
That's the point.
Not
I'm
all
trying
of
to
them?
make. Not all of them, especially, well, not around the world anyway. I don't know about...
Sex for grades?
No, it's not about sex
As
for
in
grades.
relationship,
Yes.
you're talking about a
No,
development.
nobody's saying so. I mean, we have people who are married to their lecturers or teachers
Yeah.
before.
That's
I mean,
right.
there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that.
That's right. So if all relationships between lecturers and students are looked upon as wrong, then none of them would ever get married.
Yeah, true.
So that's the point I'm trying to make, that it should always be on a case-by-case basis. It should always be looked at on a case-by-case basis, because in some cases it will be exactly what you're describing. You know, that it's being done for grades, it's the influence of the lecturer being brought to bear on the students. In many cases, that will be the case.
Yeah.
In other cases, it will be consensual sex between adults with no consideration, as in with no grades being exchanged for it. You know,
But
so
even that, it will be difficult to prove if the person is your direct lecturer. You know, if the person doesn't teach you.
if all your
but
grades
if the
are,
person teaches you,
if the
then
person
people
teaches
would.
you and your grades are still poor, then you can't really say that. You can't really say that you did it. But anyway, look,
that's difficult to
we have specific cases, so we don't need to go hypothetical.
Yeah,
we have
sure.
specific cases here, and UPSA may have rules that frown upon it. In which case,
so
if they have
they're
dismissed
still
the-
investigating, and particularly when there's a challenge that's been put up.
Yeah.
They don't want to speak to the matters now, but that's what we have in the Daily Graphic newspaper. But we also have to say that sometimes we know that some of the ladies try to make the effort, because you know we've heard about stories like that. So it's not like it's a one-way thing. It's only the male teachers who do that. But I think that if you like me and you come forward and I don't like you back, you should respect that. It shouldn't affect my grades.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not true.
Exactly.
Well, before you come in, let's do the finder. And this is the second time I'm seeing this in the media. It's about tension, we're told, mounting in the police service because, well, Commissioner of Police James Opombueno has been appointed a Deputy Inspector General of Police. And the concerns from the rank and file of the top hierarchy of the police service is that this is a ploy to give him that position of IGP when the current IGP's own time expires, because he has an extension to 2019. It's not the first time though. We've had Paul Teriakwe, a former IGP, Mohammed Ahmed Al-Hassan and John Kudalo having extension over the period. We've also had other ones as well over the in other administrations.
But do we have the need for that now?
For a deputy
For
IGP.
you know, the
I
fact
think
that you've reached retirement and we have to still keep you on and extend and
well,
give you
there's nothing wrong with that based on the structure that's the
no, the question
the police service.
Do they have a need? So is it that we don't have more qualified people to fill?
Well, they have
that
more qualified,
vacant?
but I think that's where the
point.
tension is.
Then Mr. Domelovo should step in. This is
Oh,
what
no,
he's
no.
been. This is what
No.
he's been speaking
No,
against.
so the police
People
service,
reach
the police service is governed by a governing a police
yeah,
service
we
council.
get it.
Yeah.
But
This is one instance in which Mr. Domelovo, unfortunately, his jurisdiction doesn't apply because the police governing body makes.
No,
these
I think he
decisions.
was just trying to paint a
But-
certain scenario in public service.
Yeah,
exactly. This is
and
public
you're right.
service, isn't it?
You're right. You're right.
Even though many of us disagree with him as far as academia is concerned, but on
Well,
many
not
fronts.
entirely.
Well, many of us, not all of us, clearly.
Yeah.
My reservation is about the question of a deputy IGP. I mean,
If it was a substantive
the
IGP,
police-
maybe
the
fine.
police has
have we
operated-
always had a deputy IGP?
that's,
Yeah,
that's
we've
the
had
point I'm
all the other
trying
ones
to
have been
make.
deputy IGPs.
That the
Oh.
police has operated without a deputy IGP for decades. It's been a very long time since there's been a deputy IGP. Somehow the police service has run. Now, for a country that you would imagine we are trying to, tighten our belts, we're trying to manage difficult times, as the president said, you would expect government expenditure to be going down and not up. But this president, it appears, even if you allow him, he will give Kayaye deputies.
What has that got to do with the
Because
president?
the president is the one who would okay such a thing. If
No,
the
it's the police-
IGP,
it's the
if the
police service
IGP
council.
appoint, yes, if the IGP,
Well,
Chaired by the vice president.
thank you. Okay, so it's chaired by the vice president,
okay.
and then the police appoints the IGP.
The governing administration is aware.
This government is appointing deputies to every position you can possibly imagine.
I think that's
maybe that's what they meant when they said we have the men. Maybe they meant we have so many men that we have to create jobs for them all. Because look, this is one example. The Coastal Development Authority, from which Samens has resigned. Do you know how many deputies they gave him? 3. 3. Really? They can't run that authority without 3 deputies. The president wants to give everybody a job, which is a laudable initiative, but it shouldn't be at such expense, and you shouldn't be creating the impression that the people you appoint to head institutions can't do the job unless you give them 3
I thought that this was a special case. This was a man who already had a job, except that he's reached retirement, and we've given him an extension.
So
and we've taken him to a position where
he'll be next in line. He'll be next in line if the IGP goes up.
Deputy IGP.
Yes, but where did they take him from to put him there? And who will replace him
there? No, he's retired. I think
he was on terminal.
I think we should get to a point where when you reach retirement, you should
just retire. No, the thing is that we have other 7 officers who, you know, deputy commissioners or
so maybe I guess that's what's creating
directors, etc., who also are next in line, and that's what's created the tension. We have, I think the police service has a good number of men and women who can take up.
Honestly, too many deputies.
Okay.
Too
many
deputies.
I think this is the point where we do some celebration. So let's talk about what Kojo wanted to talk about a bit earlier. Our Chief Human Resource Officer was ordained a Reverend Minister yesterday at a Victory Bible Church.
Reverend Nana.
Nana Elegba, we want to celebrate him today.
Wow.
Yep. So this was the Victory Bible Church, and that's Bishop Taki Yaboy blessing him, and he had some very good things to say about multimedia as well. So today, this morning, we take the opportunity to celebrate Nana Elegba, our
Reverend
Chief HR
Samuel
Officer.
Nana Elegba.
Okay, so there he is in the middle. So if you know him, please say congratulations.
Very well done to him. I'm so proud. You know,
I didn't see this coming though.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, well, I've always known that he's been very active in church. I didn't know he was working towards becoming a reverend, but it's no surprise to me at all.
Well, I am.
Yeah, he often shares the word with me, and I'm often
has it been changing
edified
you?
by.
Oh, you
can't
just
you tell?
listen and it goes.
Can't you tell? Can't you tell how closer?
Okay, so Nana Elegba ordained as
become
a Reverend Minister with the Victory Bible Church. All right, let's quickly go online to myjoyonline.com. Hopefully we have some time.
Oh, you know, I don't know how much time we have. I wanted to touch on this thing. PIAC is concerned about how the oil money is being spent. And they raised particular concern about the ABFA. That's the annual budget funding amount. This is the amount allocated from our oil revenue to basically support the budget. And this, in the last year, 736 million Ghana cedis was allocated. Only 332 million was used. There's 403 million that has not been spent, not been returned. Nobody knows where it is, or well, nobody has accounted for it. And it's of concern to them, but more importantly, they are thinking that, look, oil money, you should pick maybe some 1 or 2 things, specific things, and then use oil money to fund those things and improve them for everybody's benefit. But I think they are allocating the oil money to too many projects, and then some of them get completed, some don't, and then the country doesn't get to feel the full impact of the oil money. You know, so that's their suggestion, that's their concern, that look, there isn't enough rigor around how the money is allocated, and they want to see more of that.
Okay, Mamavi, let's do online. We have myjoyonline.com.
We've got photos at Chimota Penkwa traffic lights out for over a fortnight. Indeed, there are quite a number of traffic lights, at least in Accra, that have not been working. That compounded with the rains today, it's been a bit of disaster. Now it's 7, so we will have the daylights. But you know, when traffic lights are down, we know the chaos that happens. And the Fireman's Gold Boss urges calm. We will pay you. So we know that Friday they were scheduled to have paid some people per their own schedule. but they didn't open. So, you know, that's what it's, but, you know, he's assured. There's a video, you guys dealt with it during the news. MP whisked to safety as MPP vigilante group strikes again. What's on myjoyonline.com? Fire service confident of safety measures a year after atomic explosion is one of our conversations here on the show today. There are photos. Methodist Church Ghana celebrates Vice President Baumia's birthday. It was Israelite's birthday yesterday as well.
Yeah. That's true, yeah.
He turned 35.
Mahama enters Gavin's home as he starts tour of Upper West. That was in our news. Wishes pouring as Baumia turns 55. Photos. Chris Atto remarries after failed marriage to Dami Lola. It's one of those things that I still think maybe it's a movie. Was at the ceremony. No agreement with the U.S. over 7,000 deportation plan, according to Foreign Minister. Cocoa Board House for Minister Bako Mesa side in quotes with minority. And I was absolutely in love with Samson Ladi Ayenini, but that's no news, right?
Oh, before we take a break for sports, guess whose birthday it is today?
Whose birthday?
Our supreme and fearless leader, Elvis Kwashi.
Oh,
you mean fearless?
It's my special day as well. Happy birthday
fearless.
to you, Elvis.
You wanted to say
fearless leader. Supreme and fearless leader.
Mr. Elvis Kwashi, good morning to you.
The man who will take us to the promised land. Elvis, happy birthday to you.
Oh, I see why we connect. We share something very powerful.
Hey, what is this now, Mama?
Is it your birthday today?
Happy birthday to our boss, Elvis Kwashi.
Is
I'm
it your
not
birthday?
taking the shine. It's a special day in my life.
Is it your wedding anniversary?
It is.
Oh,
congratulations.
Mama busy.
Congratulations.
Hey.
You're busy down.
Have you started the celebration? Did you start the celebration before you came to work?
Stay with us.
I know. She did. No wonder she was late.
Yes, and she limped in. But happy birthday
Fred,
to you.
I've already said we're taking we'll bring you sponsor. Fred,